I'll go out here while it still says 6 o'clock. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our August 22 regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond. And it's good to see each of you who's present, even my friend, Phil Seifert, and friend, David Jones. Interesting couple. Let's get this meeting started, Robert. You're rambling. Let's see. Our clerk for the evening will be Wanda Bailey, and we're happy to have her. Our invocation, Jamie Jordan. Jamie, my friend, also. You'll come First United Methodist Church, will give us the invocation.
Yes, sir. Let's pray. God, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the freedom that we have to gather in such a place as this, to deliberate and to discern what is right and best for this community. We thank you for your servants who have been elected into leadership to represent the rest of us. Lord, I pray that they would work for what is good, true, and beautiful. Thank you for concerned citizens who are here to stand for what is right and what is fair. And Lord, in the moments ahead, for all of them, what we ask of you is that you would give them vision to see this community as you do, that you would give them wisdom to make right decisions, that you would give them passion to pursue justice for all, that, Lord, you would give them courage to stand firm when needed, and, Lord, that you would give them humility to know that we need one another. I pray that you will use this gathering right here, not as just another meeting, but as a time that you will use to transform this community so that all may not just survive, but also thrive. And we pray this all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jamie. Does a tremendous service for our community with respect to feeding and housing and ministering to folks in a tremendous way. Thank you for what you do for all of us and for those who are in need especially. Bless you, my friend. Sergeant Elijah P. Mars of Camp Number 5, Kentucky Department, Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War. Would you please come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? See, there's no flag back here.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Goble? Here. Commissioner Newby?
Here.
Commissioner Brewer? Here. Commissioner Cole?
Here.
Mayor Black?
Here, thank you. I have a presentation tonight from Redeeming Hope. Ricky Lynn and Lisa Foster will give that presentation.
How are you folks?
Doing well.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Ricky Lynn. I was a police officer for 43 years, retired about a year and a half ago, and I teach now. And I appreciate you guys letting me speak tonight. I'm here to thank Redeeming Hope. Lisa and her group has done a phenomenal job in Richmond to bring awareness to a really ugly subject, which is human trafficking. So let's talk a little bit what human trafficking is. Their group is, Redeeming Hope is focusing on minor commercial sex trafficking, which is a mouthful. But it's pretty simple. It's a trade of a sexual act, child pornography, or sexual performance for something of value to the child or third party. It'd be as simple as a mom trading her daughter or son for narcotics. Could be money. We had a case that was a bottle of water for the kid because it was a very poor family and they had sulfur water, and the trafficker was exchanging something to drink for the child for sexual acts. So it's that simple. Sexual abuse goes on every day in every state in Kentucky. So with that, we already know trafficking goes on every county in Kentucky pretty much every day. In 2011, the Richmond Police Department arrested Kathy and Anthony Hart in front of the movie theater for selling their children, who was 13 and 14 years old. And it went on from 2009 to 2011. The Richmond Police Department did a phenomenal job, arrested them from unlawful transaction with a minor. It's because the human trafficking law didn't come into effect until 2011. By the time this went to grand jury, the people in the community raised the charge to human trafficking, but it occurred before the law took effect. And at conviction time, they lowered it back to unlawful transaction with a minor. So we know it has already occurred in Richmond here. I have from two of my cases working at the Attorney General's office, I have two of my victims living in Richmond here, and they're doing very well. But they were 14 and 15 when they were sold for multiple sexual experiences from the trafficker. So we know it happens all over. I know that Clark County has 2 cases going now. West Liberty has a couple cases where we used to pretty much see the charges come in larger cities. We're seeing a lot more charges in smaller communities. And I think it's just awareness. Like, nobody wants to believe this goes on. Like this is horrendous. So, some myths that you don't want to get caught up in. Nobody's going to snatch your kid out of the mall. Nobody's going to put a zip tie on your car windshield and come grab you out of a parking lot. Traffickers are looking for broken kids from broken families because they don't want them to run away. So they're looking for houses with addiction in it, broken homes, runaways, sex abuse in homes, child abuse in homes. Kentucky is number 5th this year in child abuse. We were number 1 the last 4 years. We're number 1 for domestic violence. And we're in the top 10, if not top 5, in drug addiction in the community. I'm sure everybody here knows somebody that's had an issue with drug addiction. So that's what a trafficker is looking for. It's not something that parents have to grab their kids and huddle them and carry them away. They're looking for the invisible kids, the kids that are, nobody would notice if they're gone. So through that, the issue is, where do we put the minors for treatment? Right now, they go to foster homes. Foster parents get 1 hour of training. So you have all this trauma these kids have been exposed to, and there's no place in Kentucky to put them. So kudos to Redeeming Hope for trying to build this house. And they're trying to build it, I understand, and they're collecting money, but they're gonna need your guys' assistance. There's gonna be code enforcement. There's gonna be rules and regulations from DCBS. It's gonna be fire inspection. Almost every department in the city is gonna need their support to build this home. And I guess that's the reason I said I wanted to come here, is without the whole community's support, this won't happen. We don't have another, social services has a rule they will not send kids for treatment out of state. So we're gonna have to build something here, and why not build the first home for kids here in Richmond, Kentucky? So, with that said, the home's gonna be for 14, 15, 16, and 17-year-olds. So we're not trying to fix the world, or they're not trying to fix the world. And like I said, that when we talk about commercial sex trafficking, these children have been raped multiple times. Like, if we're putting it in perspective where people are buying them, and I know a lot of people have seen the new movie Sound of Freedom. Don't get freaked out because of that movie, because that's a third world country. Things happen like in this movie in third world countries. But traffickers here in the United States are just looking for broken kids. And we sure have enough of them. So without the Redeeming Hope building this house, there's not another one in the state that I know of that exists. We have a couple houses for adults. Well, I take that back. We have a house down in Lancaster that has 6 beds for adults for long-term treatment. We have one house in Louisville that will hold 2 people for emergency. That's the extent of our housing for adults. And we have to send people to Texas and California. So I think taking a small step, building this home for kids, is a huge step for all of Kentucky. So anything you could do to facilitate that when they get to that point of building would be really, really be appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just say that's one of those issues that causes sometimes to say that, well, that doesn't happen here. That happened somewhere else and happens here. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Had a chance to talk with Lise Foster a couple of weeks ago and about the sense of urgency that we certainly as a community want to develop in this matter. We have in our packets the regular meeting minutes from August 8, 6 p.m. meeting. If you've had a chance to look at those, what's your pleasure regarding approval, please?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble, is there any discussion, question, comment? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yeah.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blind.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 23-27, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, providing for the issuance of its general obligation bonds in one or more series to provide funds necessary to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which the bonds are to be issued and outstanding, ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in an amount sufficient to pay the interest on and the principal of the bonds, and providing for public sale of the bonds and the application of the proceeds thereof. This is a second reading. We do vote tonight. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city deems it necessary to borrow money to finance the cost to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex to be owned and operated by the city for the benefit of the citizens, and for that purpose desires to issue its general obligation bonds in one or more series, the payment of the principal thereof and interest thereon is secured by the full faith, credit, and resources of the city, which is hereby pledged for such purpose. And whereas the project being financed by the bonds and other funds of the city constitutes a public project under the meaning of Section 66.011 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and the life or period of the usefulness of the project, as estimated by the Board of Commissioners, extends beyond 30 years from the date hereof. Whereas to provide funds for the project, it is now appropriate for the Board of Commissioners to cause the sale and issuance of bonds according to the authority of Sections 158 and 159 of the Constitution of Kentucky and applicable laws, as amended, including Sections 66.011 through 66.171, inclusive of the Kentucky Revised Statutes. And whereas it is the desire and intent of the Board of Commissioners at this time to adopt this ordinance, which among other things authorizes and provides for the issuance of bonds for the purpose aforesaid and sets forth the restrictions and conditions on which the bonds are to be issued and outstanding. And now, therefore, be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners as follows. The City of Richmond Board of Commissioners does hereby authorize and provide for the issuance of its general obligation bonds to finance the cost to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex. The bond ordinance is attached hereto. This bond ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 23-27. This is the second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring it before for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any question, comment? Mr. Attorney, Mr. City Manager, anything we want to mention?
I would add that we had our Moody's rating call last Wednesday, and we'll get our credit rating from Moody's on the 28th. And once we receive that rating, which we feel like it'll stay the same as we're rated right now, we'll move forward with a bond issuance date to secure the financing for phase one of this park project.
Thank you, sir. Any question, comment?
Yeah, I think, City Manager, I think you might have answered my comment, but this really is to set up the mechanism so that we can enter into the agreement for the sale of the bonds for, and it's just for phase one of the new park recreational facility, right?
That is correct. There'll be two phases. There'll be two issuances of bonds. Once you issue bonds and secure financing, you have, they normally like to see a project completed in 18 months. The first phase of this project is bridge, roads, retaining walls, water, sewer. We'll do a second issuance of bonds next July in 2024 for phase two, which is all the programming piece of the park. So to answer your question, yeah, it's to secure the financing. We've been through the bid process and just about have a contract signed with the Allen Company to do phase one.
Any further discussion, question, comment? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Bly.
Yes, thank you. There are other ordinances at this time, though, on the agenda. The agenda calls for order 23-132. That It's an order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, adopting certain guidelines and procedures to comply with Rule 15C2-12 of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Attorney, please.
Give us just a second, Mayor. We're trying to find that order here.
While you're doing that, let me mention for those who are here, just in case you were not aware, in the pocket on the railing at the front by the little gate are copies of the agenda for those who would like to have a copy. They should be right there if there are any left.
In accordance with the requirements of Rule 15C2-12, promulgated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the City of Richmond, Kentucky is required to provide or cause to be provided in a timely manner the electronic municipal market access system, annual financial information and audited financial statements of the city generally consistent with the information contained in official statements used in the marketing of the city's bonds or other obligations, as well as material events as set forth in the rule. Such annual report will be made available in accordance with the city's continuing disclosure certificates relating to the sale or underwriting of the bonds. To assure ongoing compliance with the rule and the disclosure certificates, the city desires to adopt the guidelines and procedures attached hereto as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it ordered by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, Section 1, Approval of Procedures. The procedures for compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12, attached hereto as Exhibit A, are hereby approved and incorporated into this section as if expressly set forth herein. The Board of Commissioners hereby covenants that unless it receives an opinion of bond counsel to the effect that failure to comply with such procedures will not cause a violation of the rule and disclosure certificates, it will comply with the attached procedures. The Board of Commissioners hereby delegates the mayor, city manager, or finance director, in consultation with bond counsel, the authority to amend the procedures on a case-by-case basis as deemed necessary. All officials and employees of the city, including the mayor, are authorized and empowered collectively or individually to take all other actions and steps as they deem necessary or desirable in connection with the adoption and compliance with the procedures. This municipal order shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 23-132. May we have a motion, please, to bring the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion at this time?
Mayor, I would just say
Yes, sir.
that it's been well over 10 years since we've updated our Securities and Exchange Commission guidelines because we've not issued any debt with bonding. So this is a formality for us to bring our guidelines up to date.
Thank you, sir. Any further comment, question? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blind.
Yes, thank you. So I keep it straight now, Wanda. Let's see here.
Okay. Mayor, if it pleases the board, could
Yes.
we jump down to the next ordinance while our city attorney finds his on his tablet? He's having some electronic problems.
And mine are not electronic,
Okay.
and I'm still having them. Yes, indeed.
Are you okay with that, so we can
Yes,
give him
indeed.
time to locate
Ordinance
that?
23-28.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. That helps. Ordinance 23-28, an ordinance of the City of Richmond amending the ARPA budget for the City of Richmond for the fiscal year 2024, estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operations of city government. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas a budget proposal has been prepared and delivered to the city commission, and whereas the city commission has reviewed the amended budget proposal and necessary modifications have been completed as recommended, Now therefore be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that, Section 1, the amended ARPA fund budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024 is hereby presented as follows. Estimated fund balance carried forward, $5,660,347. Total resources for appropriation, $5,660,347. $5,660,347. Total appropriations, $5,288,357. Total estimated fund balance as of 6/30/2024, $371,990. The 2024 amended fiscal year ARPA budget is hereby approved as submitted. The amounts budgeted above are hereby appropriated to the accounts indicated for the 2024 fiscal year budget. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish a copy of the fiscal year 2024 ARPA budget ordinance in accordance with KRS 424.240. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's the reading of ordinance 23-28. This is a first reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring the floor for discussion?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Cole. Is there any discussion?
The changes from the last amendment, I know it seems like we do this frequently, but we constantly are trying to figure out how to use this money. But the changes from the last amendment, the one is we added $35,000 to the police vehicles. That's for additional equipment that was more expensive than we thought. We added $30,000 to the police mobile command unit, which that bid advertisement will go out Thursday, by the way. And then we had a request from the coroner's office to purchase them a vehicle and felt like that was just for all the work they do within the city.
Absolutely.
So we added $65,000 for that vehicle. I did get a quote today, and it came in only about $45,000, so we'll adjust that accordingly after second reading of this ordinance.
Thank you.
And again, these funds have to be earmarked by the end of 2024 and spent by 2026.
You read my mind. I was getting ready to ask. What was that date again? Any further discussion? Ordinance 23-28. Vote will be taken in our next regular meeting. Thank you. Where we're now here,
Prepared to go back one in our packet.
23-133.
Yes, and in the packet, it's actually labeled as 23-124 there.
That's why I can't find it.
Yes. So,
Yes, sir.
the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky has previously issued or intends to issue general obligation bonds, the interest on which is excluded from the gross income of the holders thereof for federal income tax purposes. And federal income tax law requires that the issuers of tax-exempt obligations comply with certain post-issuance requirements set forth in the Internal Revenue Code, and to maximize the likelihood that certain applicable post-issuance requirements of federal income tax law needed to preserve the tax-exempt status of the bonds are met, the city desires to adopt the written procedures related to tax-exempt obligations attached hereto as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it ordered by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, the written procedures related to tax-exempt obligations attached hereto as Exhibit A is incorporated into this section as if expressly set forth herein. The city hereby covenants that unless it receives an opinion of bond counsel to the effect that the failure to comply with such policies will be adversely affected in the exclusion of gross income of interest on the applicable bonds, it will comply with the procedures to the extent necessary to maintain the exclusion from gross income of interest on the bonds for purposes of federal income taxation. Board of Commissioners hereby delegates the mayor, city manager, finance director, in consultation with bond counsel, the authority to amend the procedures on a case-by-case basis as deemed necessary. All officials and employees of the city, including the mayor, are authorized and empowered collectively or individually to take all other actions and steps deemed necessary or desirable in connection with the adoption and compliance with this procedure. This order shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, sir. That's order 23-133, and again, as the attorney mentioned in our packet, misnumbered as 124. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
Move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion? Anything you want to add, Mr. Attorney, at this time?
No, sir.
So is it mainly just a formality that we have that on file since we're going to be issuing bonds? Is that,
Yes, it is a requirement.
okay,
I think it goes back to, again, we haven't done this in over 10 years, so our guidelines are outdated for it. So our attorney, our bonding attorney out of Louisville wants to make sure we're up to date.
Any further discussion? There being none, and again, this is order 23-133. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blunt.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 23-29. An ordinance of the City of Richmond levying an ad valorem tax for the 2023 year upon all properties situated in the city that is subject to taxation. This is first reading of the ordinance. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city of Richmond does levy an ad valorem tax yearly upon all property situated in the city that is subject to taxation, and whereas the tax rate has been calculated and reviewed, now therefore it be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that, Section 1, there is hereby levied upon all property, real and personal, situated within the corporate limits of the City of Richmond and having a taxable status in said city, which is taxable by the city for city purposes for the 2023 year, an ad valorem tax fixed on each $100 worth of said property, as the value therefore has been determined in the manner required by law as follows. The ad valorem tax for personal property for the City of Richmond General Fund for the 2023 year shall be at the rate of 16.63 cents on each $100 worth of said property. The ad valorem tax for real property for the City of Richmond General Fund for the 2023 year shall be at the rate of 12.5 cents on each $100 worth of said property. Section 2, the ad valorem tax for motor vehicles for the year 2022 to be collected by the Madison County Clerk shall be at the rate of 28.7 cents on each $100 of assessment and will be used as follows. General Fund, 28.7 cents. Section 3, there shall be a 2% discount on all tax bills paid prior to November 1st, 2023. The face amount will be due from November 1st, 2023 until December 31st, 2023. A penalty of 10% shall be added to all taxes and assessments remaining unpaid after January 1st, 2024, and that such taxes and assessments shall bear interest at the rate of 15% per annum for January 1st, 2024 until paid. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon second reading, adoption, and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 23-29. And this is, again, a first reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Mr. City Manager, do you want to comment on?
That sounded horrible reading that. It sounds like I was the big black guy in a horse and a carriage collecting taxes,
Yes,
raising
sir.
taxes.
Yes.
The good news is we are just recommending the compensating rate for all
Yes.
these taxes. And actually, each one of the rates decreased from last year. I have Sharon Kane here, our finance
Looking like she
director,
is,
to answer any questions I can't answer for you. So
So,
the good news is they're going down.
yeah, I wanted, I said, I just want to kind of summarize, because a couple of folks have reached out to me today after they saw our agenda, and they were like, are you all doing a tax increase? And I said, no, we're not, but I can't really explain it very well, so.
Well, for you new commissioners, every year, we have to recommend to the board the levy on taxes by law, and we can increase them up to, if I'm not mistaken, 4%. Now, if you take the compensating rate, what happens is you keep that compensating rate, but your tax base has gotten bigger, so that rate is gonna go down, and that's what's happened here.
In order to have as revenue the equivalent amount of taxes from the previous taxation.
Tax year, that's correct. That's a good point, good way to put it. No new taxes.
That's always good.
Read his lips. No, no taxes. Yes, Sharon, come on.
Our taxes, our total assessments went over $3 billion this year.
Oh, really? Thank you, Sharon.
All indications are, I mean, we're working with the auditors, but all indications are we're gonna perform well under budget again, probably close to $8 or $9 million. And this is due to revenue that was projected conservatively. We're growing very fast. And also the management from our department heads and administrative staff of being very careful where we send our dollars. So that's good news.
That's good news. Any further discussion? Have a second reading in our next regular meeting, or prior to that, should it be an emergency matter. Order 23-134. Order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, renaming a street that leads into Battlefield Park. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the American Civil War Battle of Richmond, Kentucky, was fought on August 29th and 30th, 1862. After the battle, and after the armies had moved on, there was virtually no preservation or interpretation of the battlefield until an important structure and a 60-acre tract came up for sale at absolute auction in November of 2001. Whereas noted Madison County historian and preservationist Robert Carroll Bob Moody and others saw the long-term importance of this hallowed ground in not only Madison County history, but in the overall United States Civil War history. Whereas after the purchase of the hallowed ground, Bob would often be found mowing, cleaning up, and maintaining the property so it could be developed into one of the premier Civil War sites in the nation. His continued volunteerism never wavered, even during times of physical illness. Whereas Bob was instrumental in the founding of the Battle of Richmond Association, cultivating its progress with financial support and unwavering determination to the fledgling organization in a time when preservation was not a very high priority. Bob's continued efforts of his time, vision, and experience have helped the Battle of Richmond become one of the most respected Civil War sites in the nation. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky would like to honor that remarkable achievement with a city recognition that will be permanent remembrance of it. Now, therefore, be it ordered that the street leading into Battlefield Park, city property, shall be, and hereby is, renamed Bob Moody Drive. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Heard the reading of Order 23-134. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby, Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion?
I smell.
I do too.
Jones, too, Bob.
I do too.
If there's anyone who does not know him, that's Bob Moody sitting there, a dear friend and one who has served this city well in many capacities, and this county. And thank you, Bob, so much for what you've done. Is there any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes. And
Mayor
I'm gonna give
Block.
you a hand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm used to speaking to 12 people at a time. I found out about this at 10:30 this morning. I have not had time to write out a speech, which is good for you. However, I would just like to say a few things. There were a couple of people involved in the conspiracy to purchase the Herndon farm out there. That was Charles Hay and Barb Price that did the thing. And nobody else knew about it until it was knocked off the Historical Society of me on that date that you mentioned. And in that vein, I'd like to thank everybody that's ever had a part in the preservation efforts of Battlefield. I want to personally thank them. And one of our most recent endeavors is putting a roof on the Mount Zion Church. Carol Thomas, where'd you go? Right here. Oh, she came saying that our roof needs fixing. So we started a campaign. We, Battle Richmond folks and other folks, and started a campaign and raised enough money in a month to pay for the roof on their church. A very noble thing. We were just facilitating it. But anyway, I guess they're going to start pretty soon on that roof. And that's kind of a side project we have, but I want to thank everybody that contributed to that also.
Thank you, Bob.
Further, the affiant saith naught.
Order 25-135, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a bid for equipment and installation of a new playground at Irvin McDowell Park. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the playground located at Irvin McDowell Park, 235 Lancaster Drive, needs replaced, and whereas the city advertised bids on July 27, 2023, and has received a proposal from a company that participates in the state contract co-op program and is seeking approval by the board for the purchase, and now therefore be ordered that the proposal submitted by Bluegrass Recreation Sales and Installation, LLC, in the amount of $261,256 be and hereby is accepted. The company is a member of the Sourcewell Co-op program on the state contract for pricing. Funding for the project will be from Parks Capital Outlay Budget, Irvin McDowell Turf Fund 5630, Equipment, Irvin McDowell Playground 5640. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute the contract and by his signature to make that contract binding agreement between the parties. This order shall be effective immediately upon its adoption by the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 23-135. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval? Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Cole, is there any discussion? Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 23-136, order of the City of Richmond promoting personnel in the recycle department to Equipment Operator 1. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the recycle department is in need of more Equipment Operator 1 employees, and whereas the Equipment Operator 1 classifications provide personnel an opportunity for personal growth and education while improving the workforce itself, and whereas notice and opportunity was given to all eligible interested personnel within the department to test and qualify for Equipment Operator 1, Now therefore be it ordered by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners that the following promotions effective for 9/8/23 payroll as part of the approved fiscal year 23-24 budget. Equipment Operator 1, Pay Grade 2, Jacob Cannon. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, ma'am. That's Order 23-136. May we have a motion, please? Bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble, is there any discussion? Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble. Yes. Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-137, an order of the City of Richmond hiring an employee for the Police Records Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the police department is in need of a records clerk due to a promotion, and whereas the position was advertised and interviews were conducted, and whereas the city manager has recommended a hire for the position. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners. The following individual is hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements as police records clerk for the police department at a salary rate of $38,289 annually, effective September 5th, 2023. Tristan Craney. She is an at-will employee and will serve a one-year probationary period. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's 23-137, Order 23-137. May we have a motion, please? Bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion? Chief? Fine? All right, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble? Yes. Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-138, order of the City of Richmond hiring an employee for the Administration Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Board of Commissioners saw a need in our community for an economic and small business position, and the job description was recently adopted. And whereas the position was advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas the city manager has recommended a hire for the position. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners. The following individual is hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements as Economic and Small Business Development Coordinator for the Administration Department at a salary rate of $55,000 annually, effective September 25th, 2023. Carrie Hensley. She is an at-will employee and will serve a one-year probationary period, which if she completed successfully, will receive a $5,000 increase in salary. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 23-138. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Goble and Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I would just say
Yes, sir.
that this is a very exciting hire for us. We've been talking about adding this position for many years. Yourself, Eugene Estel have been after me to get it done. Mike and Mindy have pushed my hand on it. And so we formed a committee, and on that committee, it includes the Chamber of Commerce. Eugene sits on that committee, Mike, Mindy, myself, Lori, David. And we've had, I think, 3-4 meetings. We came up with a job description that you all approved. We went through the interview process. And what I will say about Carrie is she's got extensive experience in local government, tourism, codes enforcement, planning and zoning. She understands the local communities. She currently works at the state level, and we're very excited about getting her on board and looking at inventorying all of our vacant retail and commercial buildings, and also inventorying lots that are available for commercial retail. talk about businesses that we want to recruit that we don't have in our community and have her reaching out to them. And she'll also be involved in community development as well. So this is a great hire for the city of Richmond.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion?
Now, I'll just mention that another thing she'll be doing is helping a business get started. So they'll, have someone that can walk them through the process, and we're going to strive to make that an easier process through the city. But I think that that's very much needed.
That's a great point. We talked about that extensive. I forgot to add that. But having a point person for somebody that wants to start a new business, to walk them through the process, and also to work with existing businesses and see what their needs are. So it'll be overlapped pretty nicely.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Bly.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-139, order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky approving a memorandum of understanding between Everly Golf, Inc. and the city, authorizing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond and Everly Golf proposes to enter into a memorandum of understanding in regards to the operations of the Pro Shop and the newly constructed golf instruction building. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds it in the public interest that the collaboration proceed and the terms of which shall be are as set forth in the memorandum of understanding attached to this order and herein incorporated as though set forth in full. Now therefore be it ordered that the attached memorandum of understanding be and hereby is adopted and approved by the board. The mayor is authorized to execute the MOU and with his signature to make the agreement one binding upon the parties.
Thank you, sir. That's order 23-139. May we have a motion, please? Bring the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Nice looking building out there. There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Bly.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-140, an order of the Board of Commissioners approving a task order for the Armory project. Mr. City Manager, please.
I told you all there wouldn't be another one, but there is.
Right.
And unfortunately, I requested this one, so it's on me. Whereas the City Commission is continuing construction of the 321 North 2nd Street Armory Park project, there is a task order needed in order to move forward. And whereas Bell Engineering has submitted task order number 18 for consideration and authorizing the mayor to sign agreement on behalf of the city. Whereas the City Commission has reviewed the agreement and made a recommendation to move forward. Now therefore be ordered that the Richmond City Board of Commission authorize the following task order for Armory Park property between the City of Richmond and DeVere Construction. Task order number 18, replace basketball backboards, $5,795.54. The mayor is authorized to execute same on behalf of the city. This order shall be effective immediately upon reading and adoption by the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond, Kentucky.
Thank you, sir. May we have a motion, please? Order 23-140, bring the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Just one question.
Yeah.
The words used here, for example, on the actual DeVere construction memo here, says to change backboards and replace backboards as part of the order. What is this from? What was originally?
I drive by there daily, and when they installed the backboards on those really nice goals, they use these smaller backyard-looking, they're commercial grade, but they're not a full square backboard. They're the smaller that are half-circled, and I just don't think it's appropriate to take half measures with the money we've spent on this park. It needs to be done right with the full, large square backboards. So I asked them to change them out so that it's per my request.
So how close are we?
I knew that was coming.
We'll be in coats and hats. when
I
it
know,
actually
right?
happens.
We actually do have another change order here, but it doesn't cost anything, but it does delay the project. There was a delay in the veneer for the restrooms. So they've added a 44-day request in the delay because of materials.
Told you.
So
44
obviously-
days?
4 days?
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
because of the veneer that was ordered for the bathrooms was on back order. They even changed the color, and it still took it that long. It's on site now, so we're looking, I'm not gonna throw a date out. I'm gonna say it'll be open soon, before we have to wear hats and gloves.
Bunch of coats coming.
I told you, we're gonna be in a coat.
I really hope sometime in late September, early October, we'll get to cut the ribbon. I apologize for the
It
delays.
is what it is.
Hope it's not down in the Panama Canal.
I'm learning hard lessons giving you guys dates for opening stuff. I know that.
Well, good intent. Any further discussion? Order 23-140. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you. Let's see here. There it is. Order 23-141, order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for street paving. Mr. City Manager, please.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Whereas the City of Richmond has accepted bids for the pavement of various streets in the city, and whereas one bid was received and determined the best proposal for the city, now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the street paving bid is awarded to the Allen Company Incorporated in the amount of $459,460,000. A public hearing was held on August 23rd, 2023 at 5 p.m. per KRS 174.100, which were able to citizens attend or submit comments. Funding for the paving will be from the city's municipal road fund. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage of the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
That's order 23-141. Motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Goble. May I make just one comment, Madam Clerk, in that second line for the number 1 item, it says public hearing was held on August 23. Is that the one held today?
Yeah, at 5 o'clock today.
22, is that right?
Prior to
It's
the meeting. It's
22,
the
just for the
22nd.
record.
Good catch. We did have to downsize the list, which we have to do every year. The initial quote came in, I think, close to $800,000. We had budgeted about $450,000, so we eliminated some streets. It'll be at the top of the list next year when we do this.
I notice you're not paving my driveway.
I know it. I'm working on it, Mayor.
Where's Sharon?
Don't
And
even say
I'm
that
not
out loud.
going to jail, right?
Right before I retire, I'll pave your driveway, man.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't hear that.
With some of his retirement dollars.
Any further discussion? Very necessary, and there are, if I may make this comment, Mr. City Manager, there are several streets I'm sure that each of us could identify as needing. The best, we'll do our best to get to those we can, and sometimes sequentially, just using certain factors, but we're well aware of the need for our streets to be paved. Any further discussion, comment, question? Being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes. Commissioner
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-142, order of the City of Richmond appointing a battalion chief for our Richmond Fire Department. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas, due to recent promotion, the city posted the battalion chief position open internally to candidates and interviews were conducted by a selection panel. Whereas the city manager would like to recommend the promotion of this qualified employee, and whereas the board has carefully considered that recommendation and is in accord with it. Now, therefore, be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that Byron Kaufman be appointed as Battalion Chief in the Fire Department for the City of Richmond, effective payroll date September 9th, 2023, pay grade 6. Pay will be based on the fiscal year 2023 through 2024 fire scale. Work history: hired as a firefighter 2007, promoted to firefighter 2 2010, promoted to captain 2016, promoted to captain 2 2023. He shall be on a probationary status for a period of 12 months. After that effective date, will be entitled to position reversion should he be unable to successfully complete the promotional probation, and shall be entitled to receive all fringe benefits as are afforded to city employees. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank Mr. Kaufman for his continued dedication to the city leadership since 2007. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 23-142. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble, is there any discussion?
It's a wise decision.
Thank you, sir.
You want to get in the back of that ambulance one more time, Byron?
Yes, sir. We've made a trip or two.
Yes, we have.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Bly.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-143, in order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for the Allen Drive Stormwater Improvement Project. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for providing necessary stormwater improvements on Allen Drive, and whereas 5 bids were received, and after review, one proposal which met all specifications has been determined to be the best. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners. The Allen Drive Stormwater Improvement Project is awarded to B&M Pipeline Incorporated of Mount Vernon, Kentucky, for a total of $405,955.49. This company will be able to provide the level of service and availability to complete the project. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, ma'am. That's Order 23-143. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Goble and Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I'd just say
Yes,
that this is another project that required a lot of engineering, and we've been working on for over a year now, and it's nice to finally get it bid out and hopefully completed before the asphalt plants close. It does include paving Allen Drive when they finish, so.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Bly.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-144, in order of the City of Richmond adopting a new job description for the IT department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has adopted job descriptions for city employees, and whereas after review, it has been determined this new position needs a job description adopted for better city services. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners, the following job description and pay grade for the City of Richmond is hereby adopted. The new position is in the IT department, data engineer, pay grade 5. The attached job description shall be made a part of the city's job descriptions and incorporated into their departmental structure. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 23-144. May we have a motion, please? Bring the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I would just say that what we have found in this specialty profession, we didn't get a very good pool of people, well, we didn't get a pool of people in our first round of interviews, so we've had to raise the grade a little bit to enhance the attraction to the position.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blind.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-145, order of the City of Richmond adjusting an employee's status within the fire department. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas there is currently an employee in the city's fire department who has requested an intradepartmental transfer to a position, and the Board of Commissioners does believe it to be in the public interest that such request be honored, now therefore be ordered that Brian Richmond, currently the fire training officer, be transferred from such position to the position of captain, pay grade 4, effective date September 8th, 2023 payroll. Pay will be based on the FY 23-24 fire scale. This order shall be in effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's order 23-145. May we have a motion, please? Bring the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
I guess this might be for the chief.
Transfer.
Since he's transferring over, switching over, what's going to be the process for filling in his current position that he's in now?
We post that position like we would any position here
Okay.
in the near future.
Okay.
It's not a demotion or anything. It's
Oh,
just a
sure.
move from-
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I was just wondering how, just a normal process. Okay. That's all.
Any further discussion? Question, comment? There being none, Madam Clerk, please. Almost there.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blind.
Yes, thank you. This is our public comments period. Is there anyone who has come tonight to give comments from the podium? Is there anyone? All right, sir.
I'm Wayne Lawson, I'm on the city board of justice. Something's came to my attention, I haven't seen it, but I think I need to bring it to your attention. The John Klein Park on Second Street, I've been told that gate is gonna get locked sometimes, and there's been some kids over with the skateboards.
Since you brought it up,
Yes.
I personally have been
Same.
over, I think it was 2 days ago. I got a call myself, and I drive by there every day anyway, just to see what the progress is. And you're right, there are no locked gates there. Someone, and probably had moved those things out of the way, which were actually intended to block one of the driveways, one of the entrances. Evidently, they moved it because they had taken their car inside and parked it. And there was a group of young people over on the skateboard portion. I sat there long enough that they realized maybe he's looking at us. I mean, I sat there 15 minutes and stared at them. I had nothing to do, so. But one young man very kindly and very courteously came over and said, "Sir, is everything okay?" And I said, "The park is not open." But there were no signs. I didn't get gruff with him or anything. I said, well, he said, "We didn't know because we didn't see any signs." I said, well, it's dangerous at this point, and it is not open. So I thought maybe we could ask them to sign that thing until they're done, because at this point, it really is rather dangerous. But yeah, thank you for making the observation, because I've seen it
Since I live
myself.
on First Street, if I see that, who do I need to see to let them know that that's still going on?
And I wasn't sure whether to call, seriously, the police or the parks
I
department.
think if you called the police dispatch, Chief, you comfortable with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just call police, Yeah, we
Yeah.
can, and they'll handle it. And I'll get the contractor to put some signage up and not be so lax in leaving the gates open at night.
Yes, indeed, this is not the first time.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You know, the young man was, as I said, very kind, and he said, sir, if one of us, because they had their skateboards, and they were over on the skateboard park, he said, sir, if one of us gets hurt, we won't put that on you all. I said, thank you, but don't want
nice
you
of you
getting
to say
hurt.
that.
So, but yeah, he was
Well,
very,
at least the
very
skate
kind.
classes
He
worked
really was a nice guy.
Exactly.
We brought that up, we won't get hurt.
Yeah.
Anyone else from the audience tonight? Madam Clerk, anything come through the office to be presented tonight? All right, thank you. Let's see, Mr. City Manager, we normally have on any departments to report.
I think Lisa went ahead and removed that. I wanted to propose tonight, I've got two things for you all tonight. The first thing is, I was gonna propose to you all removing the department head reports from the 6 o'clock meetings
All right,
and having them just at the work sessions once a month, and make sure that we have one or possibly even two department heads at those work sessions. Those are at noon on a Thursday. It's a little more comfortable atmosphere for them to come in, and we have an open discussion about their departments and what's going on and what their needs are, and you all can ask any questions. So if it pleases the board, Lisa's already done it, we'll take it off of the normal
any
meeting
concern,
agenda.
comment, question?
Sounds
Is that
good.
okay with you all?
Yeah,
That sounds like a much better format.
I think so too, yeah.
for all of us. That way you can ask questions.
Yeah.
And these folks work hard, and dragging them in here at 6 o'clock can be
Thank you.
intimidating sometimes.
Yeah.
But the second thing I had for you all tonight is I just want to thank everybody behind the scenes that made Pops at the Park happen, our parks grounds folks and our road department and all the volunteers and everybody out that was out there before and afterwards, and even on Monday cleaning up. It was a success, and that group gets out there and works hard on that too. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Goble?
I was just going to say, congratulations to Bob Moody, but I also want to say, you know, a lot of people know that was a part of the county for a long time, and I just want to say that and the Squire Boone Rock, it's like a really good collaboration between the city and the county, and I'm just very appreciative of that. And I know you've put in a lot of hours and many years on this, so, and this too.
Yes, you did.
So,
You still do.
thank you.
All right. Commissioner Newby?
I just like to say one thing. Last week, the city of Richmond lost a good man in Pearl Cowan. He was a retired battalion chief for 20 years here. And back in those days, there was a battalion chief for each shift. So I lived with him a third of my life. And he was an excellent battalion chief. But more than that, he was a good friend. And something that he would always say every day, one day he's going to visit Africa before he dies. That's all he wanted to do was visit Africa. And every year, you know, he was a little tight too, so he had to save money. So every year he was building up his time, saving up his time, and year after year, something fell through. So when he retired, he was going to go to Africa. Well, that's when he started having health issues, and every year he had to get something fixed. So year after year, he postponed it. So all I can say is, you know, now, old friend, you can go anywhere you desire. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Commissioner Cole?
Just two real quick things. I just wanted to share that a number of us had the opportunity, along with you, Mayor, last week to travel up to Louisville to the governor's conference that he held on local issues. So being a new commissioner, I was very grateful to get to attend that, and there were general sessions and breakout sessions where, you know, continuous lifelong learning, so that's always a positive for me. And second of all, I would be remiss if I didn't ask our city manager for an update on the traffic light at Great House Drive and Duckhorn. I think the bids are out and the deadline is maybe next week, is that right?
It was scheduled for the 28th, I believe, and the engineering firm that was preparing the bid documents, the drawings are done, but the bid documents weren't prepared. We'll be releasing an addendum to extend the date. We've had contractors call about getting copies of the documents that weren't posted on Lynn Imaging or available from his office. And so he's issuing an addendum, I thought it was going to be today, for an extension of the bids, so the contractors will have time to get their hands on drawings and bid the project. So I don't know what that date extension is yet, because I haven't seen the addendum, but it's still in the works. This is the engineer that the developer is using, so he has other priorities, but we're pushing him on it. It's going to happen, Tammy, I promise.
Please.
Hey, if it's possible to name a street light
I
after
mean,
somebody.
seriously, the Tammy Street light.
Tammy's on it.
No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Brewer?
You know, I don't have anything today, Mayor. We talked about the conference and Pops in the Park and,
He's ready to go home.
yeah, and Pearl. That was a heck of a man.
Incidentally, Pearl Cowan, his family, all my childhood lived 2 doors from me. In fact, where I built my home 12 years ago is partially on the property where their home was on Altamont Street.
Jim, is that Pony Callan's dad that was?
It's Pony's uncle.
Uncle, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just one comment. The reason I'm looking, just perhaps there are those who remember, there is a Tasty Tuesdays tonight, right?
Yes,
We're getting close to the last one. I think it's
nice and cool out there.
Yeah,
Be sure and get you something hot to eat.
all righty. May I have a motion, please, that we will go into executive session according to KRS 61.810 subsection 1 sub C regarding potential litigation, and KRS 61.810 subsection 1 sub F regarding personnel.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes, I'm sorry, I took a drink.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. For those who are here, if you wish to wait, should not be long. We have a motion, please. Is everybody in? We have a motion, please, that we'll come out of executive session and go into regular session, remaining business.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk, please.
I'm slow.
No, that's okay. No.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, and just, I didn't, in the text of that, no action having been taken. Now I'll ask for a motion that those matters discussed and with consensus, if that's not illegal to say, with consensus, would be included in the contract to be drafted for the city manager and presented at such time as it is completed. May we have that motion, please? What did I say? Yeah.
Yeah, you did it right.
Did I get it?
So move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. All hearts and minds clear? Thank you all so much. I think ain't no tasting this Tuesday, is there?
No, that
No taste in
Tuesday's
this
over.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Hopefully it went well, wonderfully. Oh,
That's my
one
glass case.
one matter we want to officially welcome Commissioner Newby's new glasses case.
I'm ecstatic. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it.
We will, all hearts and minds clear? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
They've moved. Motion, Commissioner Brewer, who'd you get, Wanda, and then second, Commissioner Cole will be sufficient. All right, they've already, Wanda, they've already moved. They moved.
Thank you all.
We kept y'all out late tonight.
We did.